Talk a little bit more about them when we get there. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Round 6 here at Grand Prix Chicago. The format is standard. I'm Brian David Marshall. I'm joined by Ben Seck, and we are watching Tomohiro Saito on your left versus Trey Van Cleave on your right.
Okay, so Tomohiro Saito looks like starts off with a hallowed fountain.
Yep. And then Trey Van Cleave, who's playing the deck we've been calling Cabrini Green, he leads off with Experiment 1. Saito, I assume, is on some sort of Azorius control deck.
Yeah, it looks like he has like a Jace Architect of Thought in his hand. Trey Van Cleave's deck is actually really interesting. Very aggressive mono green devotion deck, I guess, but it doesn't necessarily have. It has like cards like Colonian Tusker, Experiment 1, Dryad Militant, Burning Tree Emissary, like Swordwise Centaur.
There's Colonian Tusker right now. Essentially, functionally the same card as the Swordwise Centaur.
Oh, actually, Swordwise Centaur is 3/2. This is 3/3.
Oh yeah.
So actually, he's playing two cards the same cost. One is functionally worse than the other
one.
Yeah,
that's true.
But obviously, getting Green Devotion is really important in this deck.
But all he's really doing with that is Aspect of Hydra.
Right. He has two Reverend Hunter as well, which obviously can get really big. But Aspect of Hydra really acts like a Might of Oaks, or even better in some cases.
It's almost Berserk-like.
Oh
right?
yeah. It's extremely powerful. Can end games really quickly.
And he won a Grand Prix trial with this last night.
Yeah. No.
So there we see he flashed out a Boon Satyr at the end of the turn.
Yeah, the non-creature cards in his deck are Aspect of Hydra and Cetessan Tactics, so a new addition from Journey into Nyx.
Which is a card we saw in the green Kool-Aid deck, we were calling it. So it's kind of interesting to watch that card kind of find its way into the standard metagame.
Oh yeah, and especially in a kind of a creature-on-creature matchup, not in this case, but it can almost act as a Plague Wind. It could really just because all your cards are so much bigger than your opponents, Cetessan Tactics can be extremely brutal.
So.
Oh, so Saito's putting essentially chumping with trying to trade the Boon Satyr with his Mutavault. He's willing to risk it. And
is this gonna be Cetessan Tactics?
Yeah, it looks like a Cetessan Tactics. This is a +1/+1. And so Tomohiro Saito is taking a read of the card. Doesn't look like he has a response to it so far. Yeah, no, in fact, he takes the damage and he actually ends up chumping with the Mutavault. Looks like Saito is a little bit light on colored mana right now.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, no, he just drew a Temple of Enlightenment.
Right, he's going to scry and go. Yeah, he kept it. He's like, yeah.
But, I mean, have a look. Saito's already on 12, facing down.
And an Aspect of Hydra is just going to be brutal.
Yeah, no. Absolutely, and there's two Mutavaults coming in. Saito really doesn't if he was willing to trade with the Mutavault before, he doesn't really have anything ready for right now. So Van Cleave attacking with both Mutavaults, the Boon Satyr and the Colonian Tusker, and Saito didn't have a trick before with his blue-white land and Mutavault, so he probably doesn't have one now.
He just keeps wastelanding himself to not,
I mean, it's going to be interesting to see if he's going to decide to trade another Mutavault to attempt to try and deal with the Boon Satyr. The problem is, I mean,
he kind of has to. He'll find himself at 1. And so even if he taps out to Supreme Verdict or something like that, he's going to then find himself just dead to Mutavaults.
Yeah, he might find himself dead to Aspect of Hydra if he doesn't do anything as well.
He might still find himself dead to Aspect of Hydra, even with a block.
Yep, okay, so this protects him against Aspect of Hydra from dying at least this turn. It does trade with the Mutavault. Okay, so Saito's down to 5 and only down to 2 lands, so this is not looking great for him. It looks like he has a Azorius Charm.
Yeah, Azorius Charm in hand. He did draw an island. It looks like there's a detention sphere as well.
Okay, so
He can go one here on the Mutavault.
yes, like luckily for him, I guess that he can't get Aspect to Hydrate out because there's no green pips on Trey's side.
Oh,
but,
wait.
Oh, okay,
Oh,
another Tusker. Pretty. Looks like
there's nothing. There was nothing he could do there.
Van Cleave came really fast outside, like out of the gates.
This is what I like. That's what I really like about this deck.
Yeah, no, it can just be really, really aggressive. Kind of puts the opponent on the back foot. Has kind of bigger creatures than the average aggro deck. So
10 drops, 4, 8, 12, 15, 17 2-drops.
2 of which is one of my favorite 2-drops, Brush Strider. I mean, he like Trey really, really wanted a 3-power like 2-drop because he has like four Tuskers, 4 Centaurs, and it's like, I need more.
Right, it's even right. We're talking about how the Swordway Centaur is a little worse than the Tusker, and the Brush Strider is like, well, is Vigilance worth another point of toughness?
I mean, I guess it is in this case. So like, Trey is like kind of cut through like a lot of people this weekend. I mean, you know, he won a trial
with this.
Yeah, won a trial. That means he had 2 buys, and now he's 5-0. So like, it looks like it's going from him really well.
That's only 2 buys.
Yeah, so it's like a 3 years. Another 3-0. Yeah. But after sideboard, like what does Trey have kind of like in his tool bag?
You know, he doesn't really look like he has a ton that's going to be good against what we have to presume is a planeswalker-y control deck.
Right.
I mean, he's really just, his deck comes in under what that deck's trying to do anyway.
Yeah.
So we're going to do a live look in at Adam Edelson versus Jamie Park. Here we see a super aggressive mono blue deck on one side with a, what is that?
A Gale Rider Sliver.
Yeah. Versus mono black from Jamie Park, or mono black with a little bit of green.
Yeah. So I think Jamie Park's playing the black splash green, so it has like a Abrupt Decay.
Maybe a Golgari Charm.
Maybe. But Adam Edelson's playing the 1 Gale Rider Sliver, I think, in his deck, which is it's kind of an extra slot that allows him to be a little bit more aggressive, and it's actually combos with his Mutavault, so his Mutavaults fly now.
Yep.
So this allows him to be just a little bit more aggressive.
It was very funny at the where people were realizing all the different interactions with Mutavault early on in this season.
Yeah, I mean, if Mutavault is not in M15, there's going to be a lot of decks kind of like looking for what are they going to do with their lands.
Right. They've got a little while to wait.
That's true. So just having a look at the sideboard for like Trey Van Cleave, he's got Skylasher. I mean, it could come in. It's good against Azorius Charm. It's got Flash. It can't be countered. I guess it has some play against the blue-white deck. But it not that much else. I mean, he has like Unravel the Ether that you could probably possibly bring in versus Detention Sphere.
Sure, but it doesn't seem like it's even a sideboard that has a ton of. It's not very versatile. Interesting with Saito.
Yeah, Saito actually has 4 Nyx Fleece Ram, which is like a 1 white and 1 0/5 creature that gains 1 life every upkeep. So like, I presume he has it there for the mono red decks, but it might be pretty good against the mono green deck.
And so what we didn't see there also is that he's banned.
Oh wow! Okay.
So he has banned planeswalkers. He's got Jace. He's got Kiora. He's got Elspeth.
Yeah, the banned part of his deck is just for Kiora. It looks like in the main deck.
Right.
He's like two Kiora, but everything else seems to be Azorius.
Right. He has no creatures.
Yep. No creatures, and so the way he wins is basically Elspeth or Kiora or Jace. It's kind of a Super Friends deck.
Yeah. And so and then he has some interesting cards in his sideboard. Starfish.
Yeah. I wonder when that comes in. I mean, like, I have no idea. I mean, like, Saito has a habit of like playing kind of like obscure commons or like discards that like a little bit off the radar, like as the fringe of his deck.
Maybe in an Esper mirror or something like that, or a control mirror with like against Esper versus Vance or something.
Yeah. I mean, I can presume a lot of people boarding out their
Spot removal.
spot removal or verdicts, and so this becomes like a really, really kind of like recurring source of card quality. He does have one Faded Retribution in the sideboard, which is like I would presume is very, very good against the mono green deck.
Yeah.
Okay, so if we look at Adam Adelson here, actually has
Is that
a Hall of Triumph.
I was going to say Hall of Triumph looks like that's not a card I've seen in many blue decks yet.
Yeah, it seems to be creeping in a little bit. One of the things it's really, really good at is it's actually great with Master of Waves, because if you kill the Master of Waves, the elementals stay, which is like a huge, huge deal. Allows them to have basically be the only thing that really kind of like gets them is like something like Wild Blight.
Right. It's very much a Miser's Hall of Triumph. It's not like a white weenie deck where you're playing multiple Spear of Heliod's.
Mm-hmm.
He's just got the one.
I think it also helps them a little bit against like a card like Drown in Sorrow. So it like puts some of their like 2-power stuff like a little bit over over that. So the Type Item Mages aren't like completely dead. Okay, so it looks like Jamie is kind of like on the offensive. I mean, like the last 2 turns he's attacked with his Lifebane Zombie and his
the controversial Lifebane Zombie. There was like a whole Twitter controversy about this card like a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, I think people kind of like they're on 2 sides. They're either on the Lifebane Zombie or they're on the Nightveil Spectre side. So I mean, why was it a controversy?
Well, I guess just people just like I think it was actually Chris McCuller who originally he just didn't understand people playing the card.
Oh no, he like the one thing that he didn't understand is like why people were boarding it in against the mono blue decks. But it's kind of been a staple of the of having it against mono blue basically ever since Owen Turtenwald kind of like was like terrorizing when he was winning Grand Prix with this deck. And he said that is one of the best cards you can actually board in because it can continually kind of pressure.
Basically a 3/1 flyer.
Right, absolutely.
So we're back. We're gonna see Elvish Mystic lead off for Trey Van Cleave. So Saito just land Mutavault. It's kind of like he's got his Wasteland Myself plan up and ready.
So let's see what Trey's thinking here. I think against a Verdict deck, he's going to have to tread a little bit carefully.
He doesn't have any like Golgari Charm or anything like that to regenerate his guys.
No, in fact, his deck is much more like all in. I mean, as you see, like the Burning Tree Emissary is just like basically almost kind of encourages him to put more things into play.
So here we see Burning Tree Emissary into Boon Satyr. Go, that's you.
I mean, like, so if Saito can kind of like cobble together like some sort of like cheap defense so he doesn't get run over like this next turn, he'll like be in position so he can actually wrath the next turn.
And he's got a million Banishing Lights and Detention Spheres.
Yeah.
This is going to be a tough matchup for Trey to fight through here.
Yeah, I mean, like some of the cards, such as like Mending Touch or even Nylea, like which is a little bit more kind of resilient against like the Wrath decks, are not present in Trey's deck. Like he is just all creatures. The things that kind of like are okay versus like Wrath is like Experiment 1 because if it gets big
which
enough, he can regenerate, and then Boon Satyr because it gives him like something he can bestow on that they can kind of like exist after.
And the Mutavaults are like a nice, go in and mop up those last 6 points of damage.
Right, but he only has 2 Mutavaults. I mean, we saw both of them last game, so it's not like he has too many against that. But I mean, Saito had a pretty healthy 20 now to 17. Yeah. We'll see if like Van Cleave wants to deploy another creature into the face of a potential like
you've got to be scared of it.
Yeah, but like 3 points a turn with Saito on 17 just isn't really kind of like enough of a threat. So I think he only puts a 1 power more on. So maybe he either just wants to increase the clock ever so slightly.
And then, like, if Jace comes down,
I mean,
he can get through for a point.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think if Jace comes down this early at 17 life, Saito is in the driver's seat. I really don't see him kind of like losing from this position.
Right. Saito plays the second Mutavault. So he's a little taxed on all his colors.
That's it. It's actually kind of funny. This is the same problem he had last game. He just didn't have enough like colored mana sources. Oh wow, this is a.
So there's the Unravel Ether you were mentioning earlier.
Yeah, I mean, devastating kind of end step, especially because he knows he knows there's no Wrath of God like forthcoming. So obviously the Tension Sphere gets shuffled back into the deck.
Right. Would you consider saving that until after a sweeper?
I think it is interesting. I think if like Saito had played either a blue-white land came to play tapped, or just the plains and because he didn't like Supreme Verdict that turn, I probably would not have done it then. But like it's pretty clear that Saito is a little bit color screwed, and so like he needs to drive in the nails right now while he can.
And the Satyr evolves the Experiment 1, which is also a little bit getting him towards a little bit of resiliency against a Supreme Verdict.
I think he's got to take the disadvantage, this mana stumble, basically while he can. He's only down to 2 cards in his hand, so it's like I think he
must have mulligan to start this.
Yeah, I think so. I'm not completely sure.
Yeah,
but it looks like the Citizen's Tactics is still in his hand, so he didn't board it out.
Really?
Which is interesting to me. As far as I can tell, like the card in his hand is Citizen Tactics. I might have misseen, but it's if that's the case, it's an interesting keep. I mean, I think I'd almost definitely bring in all the Skylashes because they're flash, and I think they're at least a reasonable threat.
Okay. Maybe he just wants the tactics from Mutavault combat.
Tusker.
So that's another Colonial Tusker. Like, he's playing it pre-combat. So probably for one of 2 reasons. One, he wants to evolve his Experiment 1 pre-combat. Also, it actually adds more devotion onto the table, basically allowing.
I think anyone who's played a game of Theros Limited knows. Like, oh no, sword pre-combat Swordwise Centaur. Oh no.
So it looks like it's happened. It looks like Saito also has a Azorius Charm, so he does have some defense against a potential aspect of Hydra. Okay, so leaves back the Elvish Mystic, but attacks with everyone else. Oh no, no. It's a little
thinking about it.
Undoing here.
Here we go.
Okay, so
yeah, Satyr, Experiment 1, and Burning Tree Emissary all get into the red zone.
I think with the Azorius Charm, he's likely to just animate a Mutavault with his other Mutavault, and then kind of see if there's any like shenanigans that are happening, and basically if there are, like, play the Azorius Charm, and if Trey passes, he still might play the Azorius Charm, but he'll basically force Trey to act first to see if he wants to like save his Boon Satyr.
Right.
Okay, and there he goes. He activates
exactly.
it.
And you're pretty happy here, right? Like,
oh yeah.
I would just take this trade.
I mean, if he has a Citizen Tactics, it might be like the best spot for him to use it right now, because it's not like Citizen Tactics it's super powerful against a deck that doesn't have opposing creatures.
Block is fine. Yeah.
He also could. I guess
can actually kill that Mutavault with the Citizen Tactics.
Yeah, but he only can use it on the Elvish Mystic because
but it gets +1/+1.
That's true. He'll trade. He'll basically 2 for 1 himself, but it really kind of like. Oh no, he's.
Citizen Tactics with Stride.
It is a Citizen Tactics, and he's actually striving it for 1. So Saito's really got to play his.
He has to charm the Boon Satyr now.
Yeah, I mean, alternatively, he could be like. He might think he might be all in on, like, he has a Verdict in his hand. Okay. So he's got a Verdict in his hand. He may want to actually just cycle the Azorius Charm, because like it's not like he's going to survive if he like charms here well, but like if he's able to like Verdict next turn, he may just be able to straight up win there because like Trey Van Cleave like used his last card in his hand.
And I think that's what's going through Saito's hand because, like Trey was holding this test of tactics like it was up on the stack, and like Saito just took it and put it in his graveyard. He's like, no, that's resolved.
See, look. So he doesn't play the Exorus Charm. It looks like so it looks like he's going to make the play for going for the verdict instead of like essentially nullifying the Boon Satyr, which is just come back next turn. So I don't know if those are planes. Oh, he basically...
He's like, take two. Trey Van Cleave says, I know what that means.
Okay, so luckily for Trey, I guess, his Experiment 1 had 2 counters on it, so it's able to regenerate, going back down to a 1-1. I think Saito's more than happy to basically
he's at 9. He's in good shape.
Yeah, no, like 1 a turn's not going to do anything here. For like he's got a couple turns, but it looked like Trey Van Cleave drew another Boon Satyr. Well, he did. So kind of like put him back into the squeeze again. I mean, if Saito has yet another like
I think
verdict?
I think he's holding another Banishing Light or a Detention Sphere.
Yeah. Oh, and
a Supreme Verdict. I mean, not a Sphinx's Rev.
So, yes, he's gonna Banishing Light the Boon Satyr.
This is the eternal struggle now, right?
Yeah,
it's the eternal struggle. It's like, can I get these last 7 points of damage off?
I mean,
before he gets enough mana to do a back-breaking Sphinx's Revelation.
I mean,
I think the answer is no.
No, I think like
I don't know.
I mean, he has 6 power, so he can't actually Sphinx's Revelation and survive. So that's actually quite interesting there. He does have Elspeth in hand. It looks so he's kind of like short by 1. He may kind of like put the Mutavault in front of the Swordboy Centaur. But I mean, if Trey Van Cleave keeps on drawing spells, I mean, he could be really like into this. So okay, so he
Mutavault can't get in there fast enough.
Oh, so like Rev for 1. I think that makes a lot of sense.
Cycle Azorius Charm, Cycle Sphinx's Revelation.
Yeah, I mean,
find my lands.
Yeah, if he can just kind of like stay in touch with the game, like it's not like Trey has a lot of range. He has no burn spells. He can't really like go too hard. The one problem I think he might like suffer here is that he's at 2, so Experiment 1 needs to be dealt with every turn, or at least like permanently this turn.
He really needs a Banishing Light or a Detention.
Right. I mean, it looks like he drew a Hallowed Fountain. So, oh no, just ran out of time. Trey Van Cleave just like ran over Saito just after a couple like stumbles in his mana, but
and you see like just really keeping that deck again. 17 2-drops. What did we say? 10 1-drops. He's really just able to just punish these decks that we've seen make concession after concession to Scryland, Shocklands.
Right.
Oh, I can run 3 colors and Mutavaults? No problem.
It turns out you can't really. I mean, it's a brutal format right now. Like you have mono red, mono green. These aggro decks like that didn't exist probably like a couple of months ago, and now kind of like coming out of the woodwork because everyone's leaning on their mana a little too hard, and now they're getting punished. Now we're back to the Adam Edelson versus Jamie Park again.
And Jamie Park, fresh off of his top 8 in the Pro Tour.
Yeah, he's running hot right now. I mean, he's like not only did he like top 8 the Pro Tour, he top 8 at a GP like at Richmond playing Legacy, and he won a PTQ. So he's kind of like gone all the way from PTQ winner to GP top 8er to PT top 8er.
Yeah, and becomes one of a couple players who've done the Pro Tour top 8 in 3 different decades.
That's right. The other being
Chapin, who just did it the same weekend.
So looks here that Edelson's got a Bident working, which is like one of the best threats you can have versus mono black, because it's really easy to just overrun it with cards here.
Oh yeah.
Jamie's
down to 10. Edelson's on 21.
Yeah,
he's down to 7.
Right, but he does have a Doomblade in hand, so kind of like he'll probably. Oh, he just
he just said no blocks.
No blocks. I think he's gonna. I think he decided to kill the Frostburn Weird instead of the Raptor because he
More
wanted
pips?
to. Yeah, just because with the Nykthos on the table, it like he's producing 5 like with 3, so just worried about like having to deal with too many threats at the same time. But Jamie looks like he's really far behind, unfortunately.
Yeah, well, he's down to 5 now.
Oh, Thassa. I mean, that's brutal, really, because I think he only needs 1 more pip, and Thassa becomes active and lethal.
Yeah, I think he might be holding Master Waves, too.
So it's 1 pip short. It looks like Jamie has another Doomblade. So that will, like, if it's Thassa, he'll be able to handle it. If it's anything else that, like, if it's
I think it's Master Waves.
Matt. Okay, so okay, so
Doomblade's trying to upkeep.
yeah, so it looks like there's a Hall of Triumph in his hand. He drew a Rapid Hybridization, which is not actually very good right now. I'm trying to work out what the other card in Jamie's hand would be. There's a Master of Waves. Okay, so he decided to like deal with the Parrot Rat while Jamie is like essentially tapped low.
Right. Couldn't make a rat in response, so he actually just loses it.
Yep.
Again, lessons from Limited.
Attacks with his Frog Lizard. I think he drew a Bile Blight. So actually, he's actually kind of like well positioned to be able to deal with the Master of Waves that's going to come up.
Right, and then he figures out that you have a Thassa and you have a Master. Okay, now I know that.
So the Thassa not that useful right now. Also,
Master does not turn on Thassa.
it does not. But
And you get to untap and Doomblade it.
But the problem is he has.
Oh, he still has the tokens.
He has the tokens because, as we were saying before, the Miser's like Hall of Champions basically means that he's forced to Bile Blight the elementals rather than the Master himself. So he still has to deal with essentially a 3/2 Master at the end of this, which still has a pip, which is almost more important right now. Yes. So he gets 4 elementals.
It looks like he just drew a
Golgari Charm.
Golgari Charm, yeah.
Which is also kind of like is basically nullified by the fact that the Hall of Triumph is in play. The one good thing is that he's able to kill the Bident. It's because Bident, in addition to being an artifact, is actually also an enchantment. So he may be able to kind of like, script the situation where if he has if I see correctly, he has Bile Blight and Golgari Charm. He'll be able to kill the elementals with the Bile Blight. Use the charm maybe to like at least to consider killing the Bident itself.
Right. There's still the whole issue of him being at 5.
Yes. And 5 with a Thassa, which is like Thassa every turn is like improving Adam's draw. He can also actually like Bile Blight the Master and then use the charge. He's got a few ways. So he's going to kill his Bile Blighting all the elementals. So they go. Couldn't do the Master of Waves. Okay, so he's going to choose to attack there.
But that's 4 pips right now for Adam, so...
Right. But with the Golgari Charm...
Yeah. I mean, Adam doesn't know that.
Yeah. So I think Adam's going to like, kind of like, smacking his lips. He's like, oh, well, now I have a 3/2 like Master. He's at 5. I'm going to get them to 2. And if I draw like a blue pip...
Right.
Yeah, he's going to go in for the kill, basically.
And he's got a scry to find that blue pip.
Yeah, no, but little does he know, he's going to lose 2 pips from. Oh. Well, that's probably the worst possible thing that could happen for Jamie. It's a million creatures. I think it's to be precise, it's 5. Now, the thing I think he's going to do is he's probably going to kill the Biden in response.
You kill the Biden so that
okay.
the Thought Vasa doesn't get turned on this turn, and he gets 2 fewer tokens.
I mean, we're really seeing kind of the power of the Hall of Triumph here. If the Hall of Triumph's not in play, like, Jamie's actually, like, pretty far ahead in this game.
Yeah.
So now, Jamie's kind of, like, he really just has a 1 draw to get out of this. It looks like he drew the, he drew another Golgari Charm, which is unfortunately not good enough because it's like the elementals are 4/3. So I think he's going to try and hope that Edelson kind of respects the Bob Light.
Right.
And then doesn't it, like...
There's nothing he can do about it, right? He just has to...
Yeah, no, I don't think there's a way that actually Jamie can win if Edelson just, like, makes his guys unblockable and attack. I mean, like, he doesn't even need to make them unblockable, but I think he just has to basically look through all the options and push the advantage that he has. Yep, so he's making the 2 masters unblockable. Yep, and